Think back to those whispered stories from when you were a kid
Yeah.
about the weird house down the block, the person inside you never saw. Well, in Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, that figure is Arthur Radley,
Cool.
as the kids call him. And the stories, oh man, eating raw squirrels, peeking in windows at night, really wild stuff. Paints a pretty scary picture, right? But what's so great is that initial image. It's just the start. It gets way more complex.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it, how those first ideas, which are really just based on, fear and kid gossip, how they start to change. As Scout and Jem and Dill see more of the world, their view shifts. So in this deep dive just for you, we're really going to unpack Boo Radley's character, trying to get past just the spooky neighbor idea and look at the part he plays in the whole story of Mockingbird. It's actually pretty crucial.
Absolutely. And we've pulled together quite a bit for this literary analyses, stuff about the book's themes, the setting, which is so important. Even some, modern reader takes on Boo. Think of this as, well, getting you straight to a deeper sense of why this character still hits so hard. Our goal today, let's move past the scary rumors, uncover who Boo Radley really is, what he stands for in Maycomb and in the novel overall. Okay, let's get into it.
So yeah, the first time we really encounter Boo, it's purely through, childhood imagination and fear. The rumors flying around Maycomb, they're almost like urban legends, aren't they? This idea he's nocturnal, always watching, eating cats and squirrels. It makes you think, what do these specific fears say about Maycomb itself? Maybe an anxiety about anything different. These stories definitely box him in as this kind of menace stuck in the creepy Radley place.
Oh, totally. You can see how easily that stuff spreads in a place like Maycomb, where everyone knows everyone or thinks they do. It really shows how fast people jump to conclusions, right?
Yeah.
When they don't know someone, they just fill in the blanks with, well, scary stories usually.
Precisely. And then you have Miss Maudie, who offers this really vital, different angle. She kind of hints that Arthur's life wasn't exactly happy, maybe a super strict father, possibly even abusive in some way. We also find out that before he vanished inside, he was like a teenager running with a bit of a rough crowd, and he's been shut away for 25 years when the book starts? That's a long time. It makes you wonder, how did those early events lead to him just withdrawing?
Yeah, and then hearing Miss Maudie call him a polite, quiet young man back in the day,
Yeah.
it's almost jarring. It really forces you to second guess everything the kids, and maybe the reader too, thought they knew.
Yeah.
This is where it starts getting really interesting.
And as the kids scout, Jem, Dill, as they get older, their view of Boo starts to change pretty dramatically. Those early dares, trying to make him come out, that was just kid stuff, curiosity, a bit of showing off maybe. But gradually that shifts. They start to get this feeling that maybe Boo isn't some monster. Maybe he's just incredibly lonely. What do you think sparks that shift?
And they start thinking about why he stays inside, right? Maybe he has actual reasons. They begin wondering if maybe the town itself, all the prejudice, the racism, maybe that's part of why he keeps to himself. It's like they're moving past that simple kid view, good guys, bad guys, and starting to see the messy reality of the adult world.
Yeah, that's such a core part of the book's coming of age theme, isn't it? Losing that childhood innocence. The kids realize things aren't always clear cut, and they start developing empathy, which is huge. Atticus's famous line to Scout is central here. You never really know a man until you stand in his shoes and walk around with him. That whole idea, trying to see it from Boo's perspective, it becomes more and more important as things go on.
And Boo himself, even though he's basically invisible, he starts doing these quiet, kind things, like he gives leaves to the tree knuckles, gum, pennies, carving. And then, wow, that moment with the blanket during the fire in his body's just draping it over Scout's shoulders without her even knowing. Behind that, wanting connection.
What's really striking is how anonymous it all is. These quiet, sort of hidden acts of looking out for them. It feels like he's reaching out the only way he feels he can, maybe. Offering these little bits of friendship, of protection with no expectation of anything back. It completely undermines that scary image, doesn't it? Suggests this hidden kindness. Scout's realization later, when she's standing on his porch, finally getting how much he saw, how much he cared, it's incredibly powerful.
Which takes us right to the climax, doesn't it? That really frightening Halloween night. Bob Ewell attacking the kids. And then who comes out of the shadows?
Oh, Boo Radley.
After all those years inside.
Exactly. And that's the moment where all the rumors, all the fear just evaporates. Poof. He physically steps out of his isolation to save Scout and Jem. He intervenes. And Scout's reaction when she finally truly sees him, it's so telling. She's not scared. Not at all. All that fear built up over years, it just dissolves when faced with his actual presence, his bravery.
It totally makes you rethink what courage even it's not always about being loud or tough on the outside. Boo's courage is quiet. It's internal.
Yeah.
Doing the right thing, this huge act of protection, even though it means stepping back into the world he avoided for so long. Hidden courage, forced out by, well, necessity.
And that ties beautifully into Boo as a mockingbird, right? Symbolically. Atticus says it's a sin to kill a mockingbird. And Miss Maudie explains why they're innocent, they just make music, they don't do harm. How does Lee use that specific bird, do you think?
He really is the definition of that innocence, isn't he? Just a good person fundamentally, who the community completely misunderstands, treats badly just because he's different, because he stays inside, he hasn't hurt anyone, and in the end, he's the protector.
Exactly. And think about Mr. Underwood's editorial after Tom Robinson is killed. He compares Tom's death to the senseless slaughter of songbirds. That parallel is so clear, so powerful. Both Tom and Boo, in their own ways, are these innocent figures who are incredibly vulnerable to the prejudice and, frankly, the dangers of their community.
Now, it's probably worth saying that To Kill a Mockingbird is one of those books that people talk about a lot, interpret in different ways.
Oh, absolutely. Great literature often does that, right? It sparks debate, different viewpoints, and looking at those different readings can actually make our own understanding richer.
So let's also think about the setting. Maycomb itself, this sleepy 1930s southern town. How does that backdrop shape Boo's story?
Oh, the setting is absolutely crucial. Maycomb's atmosphere is key. It's described sometimes as kind of decaying, even disturbing. That fits with that Southern Gothic feel you get in a lot of literature from the region. You know, old houses, hidden secrets, social decay. This tight-knit community vibe where gossip travels fast, but also where social lines are really rigid and prejudice is just baked in. That environment makes Boo's isolation almost inevitable. The time period, too, the social rules, the racism it creates, this climate where anyone who steps outside the norm, like Boo, becomes an easy target for fear, for rumors. Even how the Yules are described as grotesque, it sets up this contrast with Boo's hidden decency, doesn't it?
And in the end, it all comes back to Scout, right? That final amazing moment of empathy, standing on Boo's porch.
Yes. That scene is just... It's the payoff for her entire journey of growing up, morally speaking. She finally understands what Atticus meant about walking in someone else's shoes. Just by being there, on his porch, looking out at the street from his perspective, she gets it. She sees what he saw. What makes that simple act so resonant?
Just standing on the Radley porch was enough. It's such a simple line, but wow, it holds so much weight, so much understanding packed in there. Okay, so if we're boiling it down, what are the big takeaways from Boo Radley's whole arc?
Well, ultimately, Boo's story in the novel is this really powerful lesson, isn't it? About how easily fear and prejudice can twist how we see people who are different. He goes from being this phantom, this monster made of rumors, to being a symbol of deep kindness, quiet heroism, even though it's hidden. His story really hammers home the danger of judging based on appearances or gossip and just how vital empathy is, you know, for actually connecting with people.
So, for you listening, we really hope this deep dive has maybe cleared up some things about Boo Radley, giving you a richer sense of why he matters so much in this classic story.
And maybe it leaves you with a final thought to chew on. How many Boo Radleys might be around us? In our own neighborhoods, our communities, people we might misunderstand or judge too quickly based on how they look, or rumors we've heard. What assumptions are we making about people who live differently or keep to themselves? And what quiet acts of kindness might we be missing because we're not trying to, well, stand in their shoes?